Hey guys, what's up? I'm here to give you guys a recap on a new episode of ReZero on Season 2, which is on episode 50, or episode 12 of Season 2, Part 2, Anyways, this will be my final recap and my final overall thoughts of Season 2, if anything, so likewise, let's just get this started. We have to that Subaru works with Bieko or Beatrice to take on the Infinite Rabbits, Even though Subaru and Beatrice do put up a good fight, their infinite multiplying is very troublesome. Even so, they become, like I said, infinity, is something you can't really beat that easily no matter what you do. But that aside, Subaru has an idea or a plan and asks Bieko to try to help him out, especially with Emilia. Eventually, we have to it that Bieko works with Subaru and Subaru becomes the bait and ends up making a fence-like thing that surrounds all the rabbits, which is really kind of strange and ironic and funny because I go shouldn't they be able to jump over that kind of cracked up fence or something? But we have to it that Subaru asks Emilia to raise them up to the sky, and she does with her magic ability, and we have to it that Beatrice or Bieko uses Al Shamak and teleports them to another different dimension. Then we get to see to it that they end up cannibalizing each other or eat each other instead, since they can't escape or they have some kind of strange delusions whatsoever, So, yeah, pretty much the infinite white rabbits, ends up having to, be sent to another dimension and they end up eating each other instead, cannibalizing each other, Kind of, disturbing, awkward, depending on how you look at it. But, that solves the biggest obstacle, and Subaru ends up fulfilling himself in his timeline. We get to see Roswell having to be comforted by Rem, right? Tell me it's the pink-haired ogre. Ram, what the hell? Forgive me. Ram, to, knowing that he has some tears coming down, knowing that he lost the battle, or he can no longer, no longer be able to see what's coming for the future, And we have to it that Roswell and Beatrice end up having a small talk with each other, and Roswell introduces himself to Bieko or Beatrice, After that, Bieko tells it to kneel down and slaps him with his shoe in total anger or rage. Whether he needed that or he wanted to be punished seems a little awkward, but whatever the case may be, she welcomes him back. We get to know that this Roswell was actually using some kind of soul transplant to another body that's suited for his soul in a vessel, So pretty much it was obvious from the get-go that it was Roswell. I guess the way how he was still alive after all these years is because he's been transferring his soul to a different vessel that will be suited for him, or it'll be able to suit him, etc. Then we get to see a scene with Emilia and Subaru, but before I get into that, Bieko and Roswell does talk with each other with Echidna's body right in front of them, in the coffin. But, like I said, going back to Subaru and Emilia, there was a funny scene involving Emilia saying she having a baby or something, which she believes, hey, isn't kissing someone means you're gonna have a kid or something, or a baby? I'm like, this is kind of funny. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I was like, Subaru was like, Puck, I freaking swear, man, I'm gonna whoop your butt for this, man. I hate you. It's kind of funny, because if I remember correctly, there was one scene in a certain series that asked a question like, teach me how to make a baby, I'm like, oh my lord. I remember when I watched that scene, I didn't understand it, and later on, now because when it comes to modern times and your mind getting a little tainted or gentrified, if you want to say it, it goes like, oh dear, what have I done? What have I just watched? So after that, we get to see Roswell getting his butt handed by Garfield, Otto, and our little Petra in total anger and rage for what Roswell has done, Roswell makes an oath that he won't do anything, and he ends up making a proof about that. We get to see that he has a symbol on his chest right now that is also a cursed oath. Should he break that cursed oath or promise or something to harm anything of Subaru or his friends or anyone else, he is most likely gonna burn up in ashes and descent to nothingness. So I consider that like a nasty curse right there, because if Subaru lost, he would be having that curse. But many people say that would be kind of pointless, because think about it. He could just die and that curse could like go away, since he could return by death. But I question the biggest one though. If that oath came to Subaru, and he even though if he died, would that curse still be intacted, or that oath be intacted within his soul, on his body or soul? You know, that kind of thing. Whatever the case may be, whatever the situation is, that, you know, Roswaal lost. He has a curse or oath on his body and his soul, that if he does anything to break that oath or promise, he goes to hell and he descends to nothingness. So that's the reason why he says, I hope you guys can understand that there's nothing that I can't do any of that. Veronica forgives him, and Garfield gets mad at his older sister for doing that, and she said, hey, I'm alive right here, so what's the deal? As for Petra, the little girl, she can't forgive Roswaal. She can't, and that's understandable. After what he did and everything else, obvious from the get-go, there's no way you gotta forgive someone for trying to get them killed in the first place, especially with all the other villagers that you had under your protection, and they almost got killed, whatever the case may be. Pretty much it's like, I can't forgive you. No matter, even though you have a good reason, or whatever your reason is, I can't do so. And we have to it that, although it doesn't seem to like the idea of forgiving the guy right away, but yeah. As for Garfield, he was really hesitant at first, but after seeing that oath and he understands it, he tells him to make a freaking swearing allegiance, etc., to make sure that he could really give him his trust, or if he can even like work around him in the atmosphere, environment, whatever the case may be, you know? So, yeah. As for Amelia, she says, I think you best start out with an apology for us to work together, you know? And Roswaal deeply apologizes, but even so, yeah. As for the rest of the episode, Subaru gets knighted, but not before he gets knighted to be Amelia's knight. We get to see Roswaal and Subaru have a small talk with each other. And Subaru's like, what are you going to do now? And Roswaal's like, my deepest desire is to reunite with my teacher, her soul to be connected to a vessel or body that's suited for her. So I have lost a tomb of wisdom, not to mention like I got this cursed oath on my body, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm gonna follow you and keep an eye on you. You are my only. You say you're not gonna leave anything behind, but you understand you're gonna make up with some invisible wounds. Roswaal does give some words of encouragement or wisdom to Subaru that you're gonna have some nasty wounds along the way, seeing how you're unwilling to sacrifice anything along the way. And we get to know and understand that. And Roswaal, at the same time, says, I'm going to follow you because you're going to help me get my deepest desire for me to reunite with my teacher. However, I think at the same time, he threatens Subaru as well, saying, like, don't mess this up, because if you do, I don't care if this oath or something does anything, I'll really murder you, you know, that kind of thing. If I have to. You know, yeah. The way how Roswaal says, I'm going to follow you to keep my eye on you, and you're going to lead me to my desire, you know? So Roswaal says, I'm going to follow you, but you better not mess this up, okay? Otherwise, you got me to deal with from now on, despite me being a pain in the neck. So yeah, Subaru does get knighted, and you know, there are some things that like makes a reflection back to season 1, you know, where Subaru says he is Amelia's knight, you know, of his own stupidity and all that, etc. And yeah. Of course, there's a scene with Amelia and Subaru saying that we're going to help each other out, talk to each other each night, you know, many evenings, as Amelia doesn't want to leave Subaru, you know, that kind of thing. And we get to see everyone having a dance, enjoying themselves, and Subaru ends up is dancing with Amelia, which is really cute and nice, because you know, that's who he is, etc. And credits roll, we get to see each individual characters making their own thing. You know, Garfield can't drink because Veronica won't allow him to. Otto's a little drunk. Beatrice is having fun. Well, Ram and Rem are like keeping an eye on each other while Roswaal talks to Shima Ryuzu, you know, etc. And then, you know, the final picture is shown where Subaru and Amelia dancing with each other, and I thought that was pretty cute. So yeah, pretty much really slick here and there, you know? So yeah. Anyways, my overall thoughts with season 2, when it comes to this, in terms of like character progression and development for many characters and new ones, and then helping Subaru out, I gotta say it was pretty much a nice ride. I mean, it's been like about 4 to 5 years at least that we had season 1 of ReZero, and I remember correctly that Subaru was sent there. And then, we get to know his ability. And then, it's not your typical isekai moment. It's through some psychological things and drama and some horrendous stuff of what happened to Subaru, The same thing could be said for season 2, but with some new characters and growth and progression for some of them. Subaru, on the other hand, he always tries to do the best he can to handle things himself. He managed to do that in season 1 after getting, standing up from Rem or something. Yeah, from Rem. And of course, like, he gets some standing up from Otto, Otto telling him, don't go handling all this cooked up things by yourself, that kind of thing. And even though Subaru did make a lot of mess ups in season 2, obviously from the get-go, if you guys been keeping up with ReZero from the very start of the anime, or you're up to date with the light novels or information throughout the wikis, you'll get the idea. But one thing was sure, Subaru went through hell in season 2 as well, I mean, like, he died many ways of getting his gut split open, eaten by rabbits, and yeah. Having to, like, commit taking his own life after meeting Satella, and then, many other stuff to come by, I don't know whatever the case is, but one thing for sure, Subaru did go through hell, and I don't know how many times he died in season 2, but all I know is the first half he really wanted to give up, but the witches, those witches, sins of witches, try to help him out, while the witch agreed, Ekina, which many people consider her an antagonist or something, which I think I could agree, but I couldn't really see her much of an antagonist depending on the situation. She might be a little jerked up, kind of beat female dog or something, but whatever the case may be, yeah. As for Garfield, that guy, we got to know what the heck he's been through when he was young. He was left behind by his mother, and then he didn't bother knowing the real truth about it until, like, he took the trial again. Although, like, he did have some trouble along the way before he took the trial, fought Subaru, but Subaru fought him when he was weakened, and then, of course, Puck helped him out. Emilia and Subaru, their moments were pretty cute, and then that argument scene with Emilia and Subaru was really, really slick. That was really nice here and there, and then Emilia going through her trials, I mean, she couldn't get past the first one, but eventually she got past the other, every single one of them after the first one she managed to get through, and we got to know what the hell she's been through, so yeah. Anyways, I don't know, all I know is like, I was told there might be a lot of content that was cut from, season 2 of ReZero. I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna have to check that out with the Friends video or something, so yeah. Anyways, I thought this season 2 of ReZero was really nice to see, character progression with Garfield, and then Ram, and then Rosewall. What was his goal all this time with Subaru, And, Subaru having to get that helping hand from Otto when it came to the last episode, part 1 of season 2, and then when part 2 came in, that's when he decided to, like, talk to Otto out, even though he says, hey, I don't think you're going to believe me that easily, but Otto decided to hear him out. By that time, they managed to, like, work together, find a way, Subaru having to break his promise to Emilia, make those writings on the wall, and then Emilia passes her trials after the talk with Subaru. Subaru takes on Garfield, blah, blah, blah. You guys get the hue, and, Subaru not willing to sacrifice anything, ends up asking Garfield for help, and Garfield's like, yeah, I'll help you out, Garfield takes care of Elsa, while Frederica easily takes care of, like, Meili, or that little child or something, I don't know what it is, la la la. So yeah, and of course, finally making a contract or friendship with Bieko or Beatrice, took a while for Subaru, and I'm glad that kind of will he represented to get Bieko to, like, help me out, man. I mean, like, come on. Yeah. So pretty much, Roswell also lost, so he has a nasty coach oath, that kind of thing. You get the idea. Sorry for being all over the place. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this in simplicity, if anything, like describing season 2, but yeah. Anyways, that's about it. I did hear a simple announcement from a friend having to give a retweet that the season 3 has been announced. So I don't know when that one's coming, but one thing for sure, like it could be next year or possibly the year after that. I don't know. One thing for sure, I don't really know. All I know is I did hear that season 3 of ReZero is on the get-go, is on the loose. So it's on it's green lit. So we don't really know when that one's coming. Hopefully there won't be a lot of people, especially me, having to wait for too long, okay? Guarantee of all blasphemy. I can promise you that waiting is not a thing that anyone wants to do. So, yeah. Anyways, that's about it, people. Sorry for bragging and talking for too long after, finishing my recap and trying to give you guys my final thoughts. What will be my score? Well, it's kind of difficult because I don't want to have to overhype it, etc. and so forth. I mean, when it comes to psychological stuff and then, Subaru going through his hell and having to get people to help him out was really nice, even though he had to die many times over and over again, and then he did get some help from the sins of witches of each sin in a certain dreamlight skate to get him to get up and accept the power you were given, So yeah. Anyways, looking forward to possibly the next season whenever that one comes. But for the time being, spring season already started, and yeah. So until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-ta-da!